Well guys, this is your bro or friend, rinnegan. So guys, today I bring the third part of What If Goku Died in Naruto World Part 3, and also I didn't forget about What If Goku Went into One Piece, or whatever I say, because I am too busy to do other thing, so I will try to complete that, What If, Dragon Ball in One Piece. Well guys, let's start. With Naruto, at Ikiraku's ramen shop. Your order's ready. Toiki, the shop owner, said as he placed the newly prepared ramen on the table. Naruto literally drooled after taking in the sight of the food that he would call as a thing of beauty. I haven't had ramen at Ikiraku's for a loon time. Let's eat. With that, Naruto, Sakura, Konohamaru and the gang began to eat their respective ramen while enjoying it. Naruto literally drooled at the ramen, his eyes sparkling with excitement as the Jinchuriki began to chow down on his food. After finishing one bowl, Naruto glanced left at Sakura and asked, "So, how is the ramen, Sakura-chan?" Sakura smiled and answered, "It's really good. Although I'm not that much into ramen. But it's good." "Oi, Naruto, when did you come back to the village?" a voice said from behind. Naruto turned around his seat and faced two ninjas. One of them was someone who seemed very familiar while the other one was a female whom he had never seen. Or so he thought. "Ah, Shikamaru." Naruto greeted. "What's up, Naruto? It's been a long time, hasn't it?" Shikamaru smiled. "I remember you, Shikamaru. It's been a long time indeed. How have you been?" Naruto asked. "I've been doing good," Shikamaru said, pretty much smiling. The woman who was standing next to Shikamaru was Temari. She had also grown up. This is the brat from years ago, she thought, pretty surprised that this person who looked very mature was the same brat from a few years ago. However, Naruto stared at Temari in confusion and asked, "Hey, who are you?" Temari knitted her eyebrows and questioned, "What? You don't remember me?" Shikamaru chuckled and commented, "You don't look as stupid as before. I mean, you've changed, right?" Naruto grinned and before he could say anything, Sakura intervened, "Nope. He hasn't changed at all," as she waved her hands in disagreement, making Naruto slump his shoulders in defeat. "Sakura-chan." Shikamaru chuckled nervously and rubbed his back head while and concluded, "Yeah. I thought so." Naruto straightened his posture, forgetting immediately what Sakura had said and asked, "So what are you two doing walking in the streets of Konoha?" Shikamaru smiled and responded, "We were just delivering some documents to Tsunade-sama." Naruto took a moment to digest the response from his friend before a thought suddenly crept up his mind. He stared at Shimakuru and Temari suspiciously and asked, "Are you two by any chance?" as he got close to his friend and whispered, "On a date?" Shikamaru twitched his eyebrows in annoyance and quickly denied, "No, we're not. I told you, we had just come back from delivering documents to Tsunade-sama." Temari placed her hands on her hips and scowled. "Yeah, why would I date him anyway?" Sakura got angry and immediately clobbered Naruto on his head, making the Jinchuriki wince in pain as he rubbed his forehead to relieve himself from the pain as much as possible. "Ow, Sakura-chan, what did you hit me for?" Sakura glared at Naruto and scolded, "Naruto, can't you just shut up for once?" Naruto pouted and mumbled, "Sakura-chan." Shikamaru sighed and dug his hands in his pockets. "Anyway, did you hear about what had happened in Konoha about 15 minutes ago?" Naruto turned his attention back at Shikamaru and asked, "What are you talking about?" Sakura facepalmed and intervened, "Naruto. He's talking about that strange object that crashed against the 5th Hokage's monument." Naruto's eyes lit up in realization as the memories of the object appearing in Konoha came back to him. "Oh yeah, I remember that. I saw that crash too." Shikamaru closed his eyes and sighed. "Yeah, apparently, there was a badly injured man found in the strange object. They've taken him to interrogation now though." "Tell me about it. I was nearly hit by that ball thing," Naruto told. Shikamaru widened his eyes in shock and took a step backwards. What? Really? Yeah, I was on a pole in Konoha when that strange object suddenly appeared and hit me. Luckily I was able to dodge it in time thanks to my improved reflexes," Naruto proclaimed, grinning at his last statement with proudness. "So where were guys returning from?" Sakura decided to ask, joining the conversation. "Oh, we were just coming back from the Sand Village. Apparently, we both had a mission to do for the cage," Shikamaru answered. "Wait, Who's the current kage? Last time, the kage was killed back when Konoha was invaded. Naruto asked. Temari smiled and answered, oh. The new kage. The new kage is. Ellipsis. 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 Gaara became kage. Naruto said. That's awesome. I won't be outdone, no matter what. And I will become Hokage. Sakura smiled and thought to herself, I guess Naruto has matured. With Tsunade and the others, outside the mind-reading sector. Tsunade, Ibiki, and Jiraiya just entered the mind-reading sector to check on what Inoichi was up to right now. Just as they thought, Inoichi had already gotten down into business as he was currently reading Goku's past. Or actually, he was about to when Tsunade decided to ask, have you already begun? Inoichi turned around to face the Hokage and bowed with respect. I was actually about to begin. Apparently, Son Goku here complied with me and he's allowing me to read his past. Doesn't it seem a bit too convenient? Tsunade nodded in agreement and responded, it does, Inoichi. However, I've bought Ibiki here in case he tries to resist. Me and Jiraiya will have to take care of Naruto and Sakura while you both take care of Goku here. Ibiki walked towards Inoichi's side and bowed in respect to the Hokage. Yes, Tsunade-sama. Tsunade folded her arms and nodded. Very well. Jiraiya and I will be leaving now, and with that, she turned around and headed for the exit as the perverted Sennin stared at Goku for a few seconds before turning back to the exit and following suit. Ibiki turned his attention towards Inoichi and nodded. Alright, you do your thing, and I'll make sure that he doesn't escape. Hey, I'm feeling hungry. Goku whined. Inoichi sighed and reassured, I told you, Goku, I will give you whatever you like to eat given that you are proven to be innocent. So I will have to first read your mind to understand your past actions. Based on that, we will be making our decision. Goku sighed and agreed, I see how it is. Alright then, I'll wait. Ibiki and Inoichi exchanged looks as the latter commented, he seems like a really nice guy to me. But don't let that fool you. For all we know, he could be just acting. With your jutsu, you should be able to see through his deception. Yeah. Inoichi nodded in agreement and turned his attention back at Goku. Ready. Yeah. And with that, Goku and Inoichi closed their eyes before the latter activated the jutsu and proceeded with his investigation while Ibiki was beside him as a backup. His guard was up, because he didn't want Goku to escape in case he somehow escaped from the jutsu. Inside Goku's mind, the process had begun as Inoichi dwelled inside the past of Goku. He first wanted to start with the Saiyan's birth. Usually he wouldn't do that, but in order to understand the mysterious man fully, he had to do it. With his jutsu he could see from Goku's point of view. It all began with a cry of a baby. Through Goku's point of view, Inoichi saw darkness at first. But soon, the baby's eyes slowly opened. The first thing Inoichi saw was some sort of transparent material above him. Apparently, the baby was in sleeping position. The baby seemed to be in some kind of strange pod and above it was a glass door. Through the glass door, there was a concave-shaped glass wall and apparently it seemed that the baby was in some sort of room. It didn't seem like a hospital room which rather confused him. But what surprised him at first was what was showing beyond the glass wall. Is that outer space? How's he up there? Our scientists may have telescopes, but they don't have the technology to get up there without suffocating to death. Inoichi thought as he continued to watch from Goku's point of view. Another cry was heard. The sound of the cry was coming from beside Goku. Perhaps there was another pod beside Goku with another baby. Most likely. So maybe this place was some sort of hospital. Two figures appeared before Goku's pod and stared at him. Inoichi widened his eyes in surprise when he saw two people that weren't human at all. They were humanoid in some way, but they looked like creatures of different species. The first creature had some sort of green device attached to his left eye. He wore a blue battle armor and resembled a lizard. Whereas the other creature also had a device of his own attached to his left eye, however the color being red. This creature looked more like a chameleon. Inoichi thought, who are these people? By any chance, are they victims of Orochimaru's experiment? That theory was quite plausible since Orochimaru was capable of turning his experiment subjects to mutated living beings. But there was one thing that did not match with this theory. Why were these creatures in outer space? So, this is Bardock's son, Kakarat, huh? the lizard creature said as he curiously stared at the baby in the pod. Yeah, apparently, he takes after his father in the looks department. The chameleon creature pointed out. Yeah, the hair especially gives it out. The lizard chuckled and stared to his left. Well, and would you look at the other baby next to Kakarat? His name is Brawly apparently, unlike Goku, he looks a bit dull. Both creatures laughed together with no humor as they mocked Brawly. Both creatures then stopped laughing and stared back at Goku as the chameleon urged, alright, we should now send Bardock's son to a distant planet called Earth. Hopefully he should destroy in a few months' time and bring some good profit for planet Vegeta. Meanwhile, while Inoichi was in Goku's subconscious watching all of this, he widened his eyes in shock. What? So, they're aliens. And what did they mean by destroying planets for profit? And also why are they calling Goku as Kakarat? Is that his real name? Inoichi couldn't believe what he had just heard. The concept of aliens was out of the question for him. But after seeing so far what was in Goku's past, he was dumbfounded. It had only been a minute and Inoichi was already having the shock of his life. Out of all the shocking revelations he had discovered in people's pasts during his current profession as a mind interrogate, he had never seen anything like this. Hey, how long is this going to take? A voice asked. Inoichi still kept his eyes closed, but answered, it will take time. I can't do it instantly. Oh, that's too bad. Even with closed eyes, Inoichi had a feeling Goku was pouting. He asked, Ibiki, can you just check if there's a genjutsu trap in this Goku's mind? Ibiki narrowed his eyes and asked, why do you ask? Do you think there's a potential genjutsu trap in his mind? It's just that, I'm seeing things that seem out of the world to me. Inoichi responded. Ibiki didn't know what Inoichi meant by that, but he decided to agree with his friend's request nonetheless. Alright, let me check. Ibiki brought his right hand up with his index, middle finger, and thumb facing upwards, and began to concentrate his chakra to dispel any potential genjutsu traps in Goku's mind. He then placed his index and middle finger on Goku's head and shouted, Kai. ... Ibiki's hand returned to his side as he asked, so, was there a genjutsu trap in his mind? However, Inoichi didn't answer, as Ibiki saw his friend sweat a little. He looked slightly terrified. What's wrong? Inoichi quickly snapped out of thoughts and responded while still keeping his eyes closed for the entirety, and no. It's nothing. Thanks for helping me solve my doubt. Ibiki raised an eyebrow. What doubt? What are you talking about? What I'm seeing now isn't a genjutsu. Inoichi said as he continued to intently look into Goku's past. Back to Goku's past. The scene suddenly started to distort. For some reason, the memories were being corrupted, which was pretty weird for Inoichi. The scene now changed. On second thought, let's not do this. A female voice said. Bardock and Jine were currently jumping from land to land, with the husband holding Goku's space pod on his forearm. Don't worry. If I turn out to be wrong, I'll go rescue him right away. Bardock assured, with a serious look on his face. In that case, why don't the three of us run away somewhere safe? Jine asked, worried, as both of them stopped jumping and now started walking. We can't. We would be found on their scouters in no time. Bardock answered. But, why would you go to such lengths? It's not like a Saiyan man to worry about his children. Jine smiled. There was a slight pause, before Bardock responded, maybe it's because I'm always in the middle of a battle. And I'd like to save something instead for once. Especially someone deemed to be a low-class warrior, my son. Bardock then placed the pod down, with the entrance facing him. He saw his son Kakarat Goku crying. I've programmed this pod to go to a nearby planet called Earth. It's a world inhabited by people with lower technology and battle power. Goku stopped crying and noticed his dad looking at him from outside the pod glass. The little boy placed his hands on the pod glass and looked at his dad and mom, wondering why they had locked him in the pod. I think even you'll be able to survive there. Plus, the planet is not worth much, so it's unlikely that Frieza or the PTO will target it. Bardock finished. Jine placed her hands on the pod glass and looked at her son worriedly. If Bardock is overthinking the matter, we'll come and get you right away, okay? Bardock got closer to the pod glass and placed his hand on it as well. Listen, you must survive, no matter what. Goku simply raised his eyebrow, genuinely confused at this point. We'll see you later, Jin said. Goku placed his palm on the pod glass, with Bardock doing the same but from the outside. Bye, Bardock said. And with that, the pod started floating upwards, before skyrocketing towards Earth. Kakarot, Jin cried. Jin started to cry now as she covered her eyes, wiping the tears. Bardock simply walked towards his wife and placed his hand on her shoulder, comforting the Saiyan woman, as he watched the pod disappear into space. In outer space, Goku was crying as the space pod was soaring through the cosmos. However, Inoichi was shocked after witnessing what had just happened. I can't believe this. Kakarot is an alien. So aliens do exist after all. This is something I have to report to Hokage-sama. After all, from what I can tell by reading his mind, he was brainwashed with a single mission to eradicate a planet called Earth. And that's our planet, Inoichi thought. So, he's a threat after all. But one thing didn't make sense. This happened when Kakarot was a baby. So how come when he arrived in Konoha, he was a full-grown man? Indeed, this was a contradiction, but Inoichi had to read Goku's mind further to understand the truth. The space pod was currently soaring through the vast emptiness of space at a high velocity. Apparently the technology at planet Vegeta was pretty advanced. Darn it, I never expected something like this. Inoichi thought as he continued to read Goku's past. An hour passed by. Goku had fallen asleep, so Inoichi could see nothing but darkness. But after a while, the baby's eyes slowly opened. Goku's space pod was still soaring through space until a distant planet came into view. It looked pretty fresh and had lots of ocean bodies and fertile land on it. That's Earth. The spacepod entered the Earth's exosphere as it began to get engulfed in fire due to the high speed it was traveling in. Soon, the spacepod entered Earth and crashed towards a random spot on the planet. Crash. That's when Goku began to cry. As soon as the spacepod crashed towards Earth, the impact woke the baby from its semi-deep slumber. The door of the pod opened as the fresh air of Earth began to enter inside Goku's lungs. The baby was currently in a random forest. Wah! Goku cried. So, apparently here Goku didn't crash towards Konoha, but in a random forest. About 10 minutes or so passed by as Goku kept crying until an old man suddenly came into Inoichi's view. The old man was a short and stubby, with small dark eyes and a bushy white mustache and eyebrows, and is also bald. He wore a Chinese martial arts uniform, which consisted of a sleeveless orange jacket over a long-sleeved black shirt, and wore a green hat. The old man stared at Goku curiously before picking the boy up in his hands. Oh my, what is this boy doing in the middle of the woods? And what's this strange object here? As he stared at the space pod behind Goku, the old man suddenly noticed something and lifted Goku a little higher. Oh, what's this? You have a tail. Oh ho ho. Well, we can't just leave you here now, can we? Shall I take you to my home? Goku looked at the grandpa for a moment before suddenly kicking him in the face. Grandpa Gohan laughed. Well, you certainly are a feisty one, aren't you? Ho oh oh. My name is Gohan. And from now on, you will be my grandson. But what do I name you? Grandpa Gohan gave this a deep thought before finally coming up with a name, as his eyes lit up. Oh, I know. I'll name you Goku. You like that? You grow up nice and strong, okay. And so began the adventures of Son Goku, as Ibiki began to understand more and more of Goku's past. In Tsunade's office, with Naruto, Sakura, and Jiraiya. Long time no see, you two. I'm sure your training produced good results, right? Suand asked while sitting on a chair with her hands laced and her elbows on the desk next to her. Jiraiya laughed. Do you think we came back without making progress? Naruto gave a thumbs up. It went perfectly. Then show me those results immediately. Tsunade smiled. Show you. What about the guy that crashed into our village not too long ago? Naruto asked. He will be dealt with soon. For now, he doesn't seem to be a threat, as he has willingly cooperated with Ibiki and Inoichi. However, I will get the report on who he is and why he is here once they are done interrogating him. I see, Naruto nodded. Well then, back to where we were, I have a certain person lined up for you to face to test your power. And he is over there. Tsunade pointed over to her right at the window. Naruto quietly walked towards the window, opened it, and looked around until he spotted a certain man on the roof. Oh, Kakashi-sensei, you sure have gotten taller, haven't you, Naruto? Kakashi said. He was currently sitting on the roof with his legs folded, and was reading his favorite book. He turned his attention to his student and raised his hand up. Yo, Naruto grinned. Sensei, you haven't changed one bit. And jumped out of the window and onto the roof whilst crouching. He then fished something out of his small bag that was placed around his waist. Listen, I've got a present for you, Sensei. Kakashi's eyebrows lit up. Tsunade and Sakura were now looking outside the window at Naruto and Kakashi, as the sixth Hokage smiled. This sure is a nostalgic sight. What? Kakashi's eyes widened in shock. You got me, this is. Naruto was showing a new book to Kakashi. This is the first new title in the Makeout series in 3 years. I think it's super boring, but you like this kind of stuff, don't you? Jiraiya heard what Naruto said from inside the office and scoffed, folding his arms and looking away like a defiant baby. HMPH, that idiot, no way could a kid understand the appeal of the book. And on top of that, it's a very rare item that hasn't even been released yet. Kakashi slowly opened the book and gaped in awe. Alright, that's enough fun for now, Kakashi. Tsunade insisted and walked away from the window. Kakashi sighed and closed the book. He stood up as Naruto asked, so you're my opponent? Not quite, Kakashi responded and walked over to the window. He looked inside and greeted Sakura. Gee, it's been a while since I've seen you too, Sakura. Yes, Sensei. Sakura smiled. Kakashi jumped and landed perfectly on the window edge and crouched. My opponents will be Naruto and Sakura. Jiraiya smirked. Naruto and Sakura were taken by surprise. Kakashi-sensei is our opponent. I want to see what you can do against Kakashi, a voice said. Everyone looked towards the voice and saw Tsunade back at her seat. I will determine your status in the future based on the results. Sakura, show me that you weren't just wasting your time training under me. The legendary Sannin said. Sakura nodded. Yes, ma'am. Then, shall we get right into it? Kakashi asked. Is what I would like to say. But before we do that, we have to get information about the mysterious man. He is currently being interrogated, and we hope he is not a spy of some sort or from the Akatsuki. Plus, Naruto, you just got back, so you must be tired. I'll give you a short rest. Naruto would have normally argued back in this situation, but since Kakashi, Tsunade, and Jiraiya had to also find out information about Goku, they had to anyway wait. Naruto nodded, and Kakashi shifted from sitting on the edge of the window. Let's meet up at the third training grounds later. See ya. And with that, Kakashi disappeared in a puff of smoke. Shizune looked at Tsunade and asked, why is he in such a hurry? Tsunade shook her head and folded her arms. I have a pretty good idea why. He's going to read the masterpiece of a book I wrote. Jiraiya spoke up, smiling proudly. Realization dawned on Sakura's face. With that look on his face, there's no doubt about it. However, after the man from earlier is interrogated, Kakashi will be summoned to the office. The interrogation shouldn't take long. Tsunade assured. Jiraiya had a smug expression on his face and thought to himself while nodding, that's an obvious reaction for someone after getting an unreleased copy of my books. Back at the mind reading and interrogation specialization section, with Inoichi, Ibiki, and Goku. It had been quite some time since Inoichi began reading Goku's mind. He had been silent for quite some time now, which made Ibiki wonder what was going on. Ibiki placed his hands in his pocket and said to himself, it usually doesn't take him this long to just find out who he is and what his intentions are and why he is in the village. Suddenly, Inoichi gasped fell on his butt, his body trembling badly for some reason. Holy shit. Ibiki quickly ran to the aid of his friend and helped him up. What's wrong? Are you okay? I'm fine. But, this man. Inoichi tried to catch his breath as his body still trembled. What about this man? Is he a threat? Ibiki asked, with a serious expression on his face. And no, it's not that. In fact, it's the complete opposite. Inoichi sweated profusely. Ibiki raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? Shaking uncontrollably. Seeing the speed that he would never match. Mass destruction and witnessing a planet destroyed. An organization that profits from entire annihilation. Inoichi had just finished reading Goku's mind and his past. He witnessed everything. From Goku's childhood, till the Saiyan saga and beyond. The ruthlessness of the Saiyans. The Treant Frieza. Powerful foes that could destroy planets. Powerful foes even faster than the speed of light. Even if all the tailed beasts combined their power, they still wouldn't be able to defeat Goku. He had seen it all. Inoichi's train of thoughts derailed when Ibiki shook him a bit. Inoichi, what's going on? Hey man, you okay there? Goku asked from the mind-reading machine. Inoichi snapped back into reality and looked at Ibiki. I'll explain everything at Lady Tsunade's office. But for now, please take Son Goku to a place that provides lots of food. Long story short, he's not a threat. In fact, he is far stronger than you can ever imagine. I'll explain everything when I report to Tsunade, but for now, take Goku to a place where he can eat food and refresh himself. Ibiki was confused, but nodded. Got it. With that, Ibiki got Goku out of the mind-reading machine. Inoichi walked towards Goku and apologized. I'm sorry Goku for the trouble. I'll explain what's been going on later, but for now, Ibiki will take you to a place to eat. Goku rubbed his back head and smiled. Well, I don't know what's exactly going on, but I can't think anyway on an empty stomach. Thanks. Inoichi smiled at Goku. You're always welcome. Ibiki raised an eyebrow and noticed how friendly Inoichi was being to Goku. Strange. Just what did Inoichi see in Goku's mind? As the trio were getting ready to leave, Inoichi gulped and thought to himself, well shit, how am I going to explain what I saw in Goku's mind without sounding like a crazy guy? Lady Tsunade, you may not believe what you're about to hear soon. Well, guys, this is the end of third part of What If Goku Died in Naruto World, and if like this fanfiction story, I will try to make another fourth part of fanfiction story, so please guys, like, share, comment, and also subscribe to my channel for more updated videos, or also, I didn't forget about What If Goku Landed in One Piece World Part 4.